Hey, welcome back to another episode of the She's Making an Impact podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Ngom. Today we have another on-air coaching episode with one of our Impact Partnership students. Hello, Miss Jenni.
Hello, Rachel.
All right, tell us a little bit about you and your business.
Okay, sure. So my husband and I decided years ago that the 9-to-5 grind just wasn't for us. So we broke the status quo and we carved our own path to financial independence and a 7-figure net worth before we turned 40. And that was cool. We did that. And then we found out about the FIRE movement. And we're like, ooh, this is really cool. There's other people doing what we did in their own way. And a whole pile of people in this movement who are on the journey to financial independence. So we found this new sense of purpose where we are wanting to help people on the FIRE movement journey because we've done that. And so that's essentially what we're doing now. We started a podcast last year, and that's just kind of the beginnings of our new adventure.
Cool. All right. How can I help you today?
Well, so I have this pull in my heart to help all these people. And I am also an introvert who likes to hide. So I have this part of me that's like, yes, I'm going to go do this, going to do all these big things. And this other part of me, which I say likes to turn into a turtle, and I just want to pull my head back into my shell and hide.
Yeah.
So this is like a constant ebb and flow in me. And I'm trying to figure out how to calm my turtle part of me so that I can really show up big, because I want to show up, but I like to hide.
Yeah, me too. You just do it. And you do it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until you start to feel comfortable with it. It was so funny. I took Gabrielle to a birthday party this weekend, and her French teacher was like, I didn't know you were like a speaker and all these things. And I was like, I would never consider myself a speaker. And she was like, were you always like into public speaking? And I was like, no. Like I was the girl that hated, like in high school, even in college, up until, this was in college too. If I had a speech, I would write down word for word what I was going to say, literally. And I would just look at the paper. I'm like, don't make eye contact. Don't look up. They're not there. Like it was awful. The worst thing for me was public speaking. Even when I was in Ethiopia on a mission trip with my mom, and we were speaking at a women's conference. So I'm like 21, 22, maybe 22. Still wrote down word for word. I even had a translator, so it wasn't like all on me, and I was still like so self-conscious, hated it, and like they couldn't even understand the words that were coming out of my mouth because they needed the translator. So just know, like, you're not alone in that by any means. I've always been like wanting to hide in the back of the room, not wanting to raise my hand. Like I was not the girl to raise her hand for anything in school ever. I just wanted to hide.
Okay, that is really interesting, because outside perspective of you now, you just show up and do it.
Exactly. So I say that just so you know, that's not like where I am now is not how I started. And so the journey looked like, I'm like, okay, so I want to do this thing. I'm terrified of doing this thing. I need to put myself in situations that are going to get me uncomfortable, that are going to help me grow in order for me to be able to do that thing. So I signed up for Toastmasters, which I'm sure you have them in Canada. So just go to Toastmasters and you'll find one. So I was like, all right, well, if I want to learn how to speak in front of people, I guess I better start speaking in front of people. So I signed up for Toastmasters, started doing that. And then I was like, what's the worst possible thing that I could think of for me to do? Standing up in front of people and leading a group fitness class. That sounds like torture. That sounds awful. So I did that. So I signed up to be a turbo kick instructor and was teaching turbo kick because it literally made me want to like die inside.
Okay. Yeah, I can feel inside of me right now, like, and then at the same time, you saying that, I'm like, okay, I feel like I should host a local group where I can talk to them, because I'm scared to do that. And I want to show up and like help people, but maybe I just need to put myself in a room full of people and talk to them.
Where you have to do it. And then I asked her, I'm like, how many videos or like speaking things? Like, so it could be video, could be speaking on stages. Do you think I've done? And she was like, I don't know. And I'm like, probably, I don't know, 1,000, 5,000. 10,000, like how many realistically have I done in the past 12 years? A lot. And so I literally just forced myself to do it over and over and over and over again, the thing that I hated and made me uncomfortable. And I'm like, hopefully by the time you do something 10,000 times, you at least become proficient in it. So hopefully. Um,
Hopefully.
yeah. So just do it. Just figure out like what makes you really, really, really uncomfortable and then do it. And so even in like masterminds, because I have that tendency to like want to hide, I
Mhm.
force myself to raise my hand and to speak up. I force myself to sit in the front and not in the back. I force myself to actually go out and speak to other people. And so I have to be very intentional about it because what I really want to do is hide under my blanket in my yoga pants and do nothing. Um,
Okay. So I'm
so
not alone in this fear.
no, I'm like so intentional about doing that. And I'm just like thinking back to the mastermind that I've been in this year, and it has been such a game changer for me. But it's because I raised my hand, it's because I spoke up. And the people that are in this mastermind, they have been like light years ahead of me. I'm like at the bottom of the barrel, barely got in based off of the qualifications for it. So like these are people that are like I very much respect, look up to. They are like crushing it. So for me, my tendency would be like, hide, you have nothing good to say, let them speak up. But if I have the opportunity now, I'm like, no, I have something important to say. I'm going to raise my hand and I'll let the leader of the group actually like call on me and share in front of everybody. And there's been moments where I've been like crying in front of everybody in that mastermind more than once. But I also know what I have to say, the Lord's showed me, no, what you have to say is valuable and important. So you get to actually speak up and use your voice.
Mm, yeah, that is something that I can need to be more intentional with that. Like even for me, and this might sound silly, I will see somebody in like just like a group chat thing, share
Yeah.
something, and I'll be like, "Oh, I have something that could totally share that could help them." I will be typing it out, and then I will see that somebody posted something similar,
Yeah.
and I'll delete it. And I'll be like, "Oh, no, they've got it. That should be good enough." And yeah, I just need to be intentional and hit submit and be like,
Uh-huh.
"Okay, like what I have to say I feel like sometimes that I'm gonna bug people.
No.
Like, it's such a weird sense of like, "Oh, I don't wanna bother somebody by adding this extra thought or this extra."
So when did that lie enter your world? How old were you and what happened? Did you have
Oh.
siblings or kids at school that told you you're going to bug people? I'm just
Oh,
thinking of TJ, how sometimes he'll say to Gabrielle of like, be quiet, you're annoying. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Don't call her annoying. Like, I know
right.
she's 3 and she could be acting that way, but don't call her.
Right. And that's interesting. I have a younger sister that's like 18 months younger than me. So growing up, we were really similar, and she was always the one to take the lead, and I would always hang back.
Uh-huh.
So I just learned, my introverted self, that I could just hang back, and she would handle everything. She would ask the directions, she would take the lead, she would figure out all the things, and
Yeah.
I was along for the ride, but I didn't have to step up and step into
Huh.
that. So I wonder, maybe there, because I
Yeah.
feel like I always had my little buddy by my side.
Yeah. Definitely could
Huh.
be.
And it's weird too now, like, I'm having people that I know reach out to me because they've listened to the podcast, and they're like, "Oh my goodness, like, I am changing part of my life moving forward because of things that you have said on your podcast.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you know half of the things that I'm listening to on your podcast. Like, I didn't know that about you." And it's so weird with the podcast, I can put myself out there, say what I wanna say, and hit submit,
Yeah.
and it's just out there, and I don't really think about it, but I'm still in a sense hiding. I'm not face to face with somebody in that scenario.
Yeah. So I don't necessarily want this to turn into like an inner healing session, but I
Okay.
want you to like write this down and you could journal about it
Okay.
where you're just going to ask Holy Spirit, what are the lies that I've believed in the past around being seen?
Okay.
Is there anyone I need to forgive around this lie of being seen?
Okay.
What's the truth about me being seen? So, what are the lies that I've believed in the past about being seen? Is there anyone I need to forgive that has contributed to me believing that lie about being seen? And then
Mhm.
what's the truth about me being seen?
Okay. I will do that. I feel a really like sinking heavy feeling in my heart right now. I don't
It'll
know
be
why.
so good though when you go through
Yeah.
it and you actually figure out like, oh, this has been holding me back for how many years? And then you just get to forgive and let go of it and understand what God actually says about you and the truth of who you are.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Okay. I will do that. I can see how that will be powerful
Yeah.
and hopefully help this little internal struggle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Imagine once you get over this, you're going to be
Mhm.
everywhere. Oh,
Yeah. It's hard to
ah.
hide when you're gonna be everywhere.
No, let me tell you a really funny story. Because I always wanted to hide. I was in college. Was it my freshman year or sophomore year? I was one of the starters. And so the starters, we all get together and we're like doing a huddle. And then whoever they're about to announce, we have to get in the middle and do like a little dance. And then we're holding a t-shirt and then we're supposed to throw the t-shirt into the stands.
Okay.
I like would not want to start, so I didn't have to do that of like dancing in front of everybody and throwing the t-shirt. So it's my turn. They're calling my name. I'm like, oh man. So I'm like I think maybe this was the first time I started. I don't remember, or the first time I did this. And I was and so I do my like not dance. Maybe I just like wave my hands like, yay, okay. And then I run out and I go to throw the t-shirt and I'm so nervous. I throw the t-shirt into the ground. And
Oh,
so
no.
there's like the anticipation of somebody's gonna catch the shirt, and then there's like the wah wah. Wah. So just know nothing you do could be worse than me throwing a t-shirt into the ground in front of the entire Huff Hall Stadium.
And I think that's it, right? Like our brains, I don't know, maybe it's just our inner like fight or flight response, think
Yeah,
something's bad is gonna happen.
yeah.
And literally, if your horrible moment was throwing a t-shirt into the ground, whoop-de-doo, right?
Could have
Like
been a lot worse. I could have
you
died.
have a
No,
funny
that made
story
it
from it
worse.
now. You survived.
I did. Now it's a really funny, embarrassing story.
Awkward, yeah.
So awkward. Wah, wah, wah. But just know, like, everyone is awkward and weird in some way. And so who cares?
Mhm. And I think that part of me showing up in this new space, that I'm excited about is I'm like, "We've done it." Like, I wanna help people, and I feel like I can come from an authentic place, and then how can somebody judge me for being authentic? Like, I'm not trying to, like, make myself something that I'm not, I just have to keep showing up as myself.
I want you to understand though, you are going to get judged
Mm,
no matter what you do or say.
mm,
And you have to be okay with that and
yeah,
know who you are as a child of God and like have those burned into your subconscious and into your heart. So like I have this like schools like, hey, we have these declarations of who God says you are. You need to be reading this every single day. And then I created the podcast around it of who God says I am. So you can listen to that every single day. But just know like you are going to get judged. And that's just a part of being seen because you're only
mm,
not going to get judged if you hide under your covers and do nothing and say nothing.
right. Okay. I needed to hear that
Yeah.
because and I feel like with even more authority then to show up as myself because
Yeah. You're going to get judged no
then
matter what. So you might as well be judged being yourself.
yeah, yeah. So I can own up to the fact that I am a turtle, but own
Yeah.
up to the fact that this turtle is going to be intentional
Yeah.
and keep putting herself out there, keep putting herself out
Why do
there.
you think I constantly share super awkward stories and weird things about myself? Because I'm like, you're either going to love me or you're going to hate me. You're going to judge me, whatever. I am who I am.
That is so true. That is one of the reasons why I joined Impact was because I'm like Rachel is I just feel like she is showing up as herself And for whatever reason in me, I like, that is what I want to do, as hard as it is for me, but that's what drew me to you. And I'm like, these are my people in impact who are building something, but being able to show up as themselves along the way. Like they're not trying to
Yeah.
make something up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. So tangible steps that you're going to take from this.
First I'm going to go do my little journaling exercise,
Perfect.
see where that takes me. I am vowing to put myself out there, and anytime I'm going to hit delete on a message I'm feeling inclined to share with people, instead I'm going to hit send. And I am going to,
I feel like you actually need to look in your area to see what speaking opportunities there are. So it could be at
yeah,
like a conference or something like that, where you're like, hey,
okay.
this is what me and my husband are able to do. I would love to come and share.
Okay, that's good because yes, I was going to say my next thing to like get myself in front of a group of people.
Yeah.
So that could be somebody else's group,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
So, and sign up for Toastmasters.
Oh man, that
I'm
one
gonna,
makes
so
me want to run.
uh 95% sure that I'm homeschooling TJ next year. And I'm like, because I've had visions of him speaking on stages, and I'm like, this kid is gonna be like this little leader. So I'm gonna take him to Toastmasters, and he's
Yeah.
10. And I'm like, imagine like if I did that when I was 10. Like,
Oh, do it. My sister was always into public speaking as a little kid and then
yeah,
took Toastmasters as an adult. And she can talk in front of anybody now.
yeah.
And like I'm in awe watching her. So the fact that I'm like just wrote on my paper to sign up for Toastmasters is
So, but I want you to actually look and go online and find the meeting date that you're going to go to next, and then put it in the Impact Partnership Boxer thread so we can hold you accountable to that.
okay. I will do that.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah. I'm nervously excited for me too.
No, it'll be fun.
hmm Yeah, it'll be good. Got nothing to lose.
What else?
Um, I don't know if that feels full for my little turtle
That feels
self.
good.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm good. No more, Rachel. I'm good.
I'm like, I'm good before I pull back and hide here and just tuck this paper away till 2025.
Nope. Nope. Not under my watch. Not gonna
No,
happen.
no, and I know that. So I I've got this. I've got this. And the other thing now I have to go and tell my husband so he also knows. I'm like, Rachel says I have to do this, this, and this. He's like, okay, okay, I'm gonna hold you to that. And he
I
does.
love it.
Like,
You guys
okay.
are really sweet. You have a cute relationship.
Yeah.
Okay, so for people that want to retire early, how can they connect with you?
Ooh, they can check out my podcast, the Playing with Fire, the Fire Movement podcast. It's on Apple and Spotify and lots of other places. Or they can find us on Instagram at _leaf, LEAF_lifestyle.
Amazing. All right. Well, I'm excited for you to go and
Thank
take
you so
action.
much.
It'll be a lot of fun. And yeah, definitely go check out Jen and Chris, what they're up to, and achieve fire. So amazing. Thanks for being here.
Thanks so much, Rachel.
Bye.
Bye-bye.